You're asked a completely harmless question. Did you take the scenic route? And instead of simply saying yes, you somehow find yourself launching into a meticulously detailed 4-minute breakdown of traffic patterns on Main Street, explaining precisely why the left lane was blocked by a large delivery truck, how you suddenly remembered a forgotten errand you had to run 3 weeks ago, and why taking the boulevard made more logistical sense. Before you even realize what happened, you are sweating under the collar, wondering why you just gave a full judicial deposition for a simple yes or no question. If you find yourself doing this regularly, you are certainly not alone in this exhausting habit. Modern psychologists studying conversational dynamics often categorize this intense behavior under patterns of conversational hypervigilance and preemptive defense mechanisms. But let's drop the heavy textbook definitions for a moment and look at what is actually happening beneath the surface. It is almost never because you love the sound of your own voice or because you want to dominate the conversation. Instead, it is because your brain operates under a quiet, unrelenting, and deeply exhausting assumption. If I leave a single gap in my explanation, they will misunderstand me, twist my words, assume the worst, or use my simplicity against me. Where does an instinct this exhausting actually come from? For a vast majority of over-explainers, it traces directly back to formative environments where simplicity simply wasn't allowed or safe. Think back to your past. Did you grow up in a space where a straightforward answer like, "I forgot," or "I was late" was met with immediate suspicion, aggressive interrogation, or a grueling cross-examination? When you lived through high-tension dynamics where every minor action or mistake required a 10-point legal justification just to keep the peace and stay safe from conflict, your nervous system learns a very rigid, hard-coded rule. Conciseness is dangerous. Details are your only real armor. And this is precisely where the psychology of the habit turns brutal. The very defensive armor you painstakingly built to protect yourself from being misjudged or rejected actually starts doing the exact opposite. Because you are throwing 20 unnecessary details at someone when 2 sentences would more than suffice, people naturally start tuning out. Their eyes glaze over, they miss the core of what you are trying to say, and they pull back. Then, how does your brain interpret that lack of responsiveness? It reads their quietness as absolute proof that you messed up, prompting you to, you guessed it, explain even more to fix it. It is a terrifying, self-fulfilling psychological loop. You over-explain because you are terrified of rejection, but the over-explaining itself creates the exact social friction and awkwardness you were desperately trying to avoid in the first place. Yet, let's look at the flip side of this cognitive style, because nobody ever talks about the hidden strengths or superpowers buried underneath. People who over-explain are almost always hyper-empathetic. They care deeply, sometimes painfully, about how their words and actions impact the emotional atmosphere of the room. They are master context builders, deeply analytical, and they value absolute transparency over superficial charm. Your brain isn't broken or flawed. It is simply running an outdated survival script that was brilliant at keeping you safe in high-friction environments, but is now just draining your battery in safe ones. Recognizing this pattern is the crucial first step toward changing it, yet unlearning years of automatic self-defense requires immense patience with yourself. You spent a lifetime learning to guard every single word, so you cannot expect your nervous system to drop its armor overnight just because you now understand the theory behind it. Healing means accepting that awkward pauses are safe, that gentle misunderstandings are survivable, and that you do not need everyone in the room to possess a complete dossier of your intentions in order to validate your worth. So, what do you actually do with that realization? The next time someone asks you a completely mundane question and you feel that familiar hot surge of panic telling you to deliver your entire life story, try a small experiment. Give them the short, bare minimum answer. And then, and this is undeniably the hardest part, just stop talking. Let the empty silence sit there in the air between you. It will feel completely uncomfortable. It will feel entirely naked and exposed. But the moment you consciously survive that silence, you teach your nervous system a brand new, liberating lesson. You do not need to constantly negotiate for the right to exist or be understood anymore. A single, simple sentence is more than enough.